Hey, Catherine, how's it going? Welcome to the show.
Hello, my friend. Thank you for having me.
I
How are you
am,
holding up?
you know what? Let's be fair. I was super sick over the past couple of days. We just
Mhm.
shared. My brain is very mushy and very foggy, but I am on the mend. But I'm so excited to jump into this podcast with you. So, for the listeners, if I have a bit of a moment, you know why. What about you, Catherine? How are you doing?
I have been just chugging coffee all day today, so I'm super amped and I'm going to try not to yell. We're gonna talk about some very exciting things. So I'm ready. I'm ready.
Oh my gosh, I am so ready for this episode as well. Like, I'm so excited. I've been planning this episode since I started planning this podcast. Like, all I want to do is educate the people on why what we're talking about today is so freaking important
Mhm.
and like just have people understand the difference it can make inside of their business. So, with that, let's just start off easy for folks.
Okay.
What is SEO? And then after, we're going to jump into like, why does it matter? But what is SEO?
Sure. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. So everything that you use, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Google, it's got an algorithm, right? And you want to work with that algorithm rather than against it. So search engine optimization, and we'll call it SEO from here on out. It's the practice of optimizing your website to improve its visibility and ultimately its ranking on Google's search engine results pages. Ultimately, that visibility is going to mean an increase in your business's revenue. The more people that see you, the more likely they are to buy from you. How can people buy from you if they don't even know you exist? So you have to boost your visibility.
Uh,
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Keep going. If you got more, keep going.
I could preach about it and that's why you and I connected, honestly, is just because people don't recognize its importance. So I was going to say it's fundamental, and I would say it's absolutely mandatory for any business or organization. This is a mandatory investment for you. It future-proofs your business. The overwhelming majority of online purchases or requests for information, they start with a search engine. Over 90% start with Google. So you think about it. When you're ready to buy a thing, what do? You're going to pick up your phone, right? You're going to search for that thing or service or a question you have about it on Google. That's over 90% of you doing that. So we're just bringing people, when we're doing SEO, we're bringing your business to where they're already at when they're the closest they're going to be to buying from you.
Yes. And why it matters is because of something I like, well, something called search intent. There's,
Hmm.
there's, search intent is so important, and people don't quite understand this as they're like, well, where am I going to market? Why don't I just throw spaghetti at the wall? It's like, why would you
Yes.
throw spaghetti at the wall when you could just go to Google
Right.
and make sure that you're the first thing that pops up on Google? Because if somebody's coming and looking up the thing you are offering, that means that they are ready to either learn more about that thing or to purchase and buy that thing. And so they're already down that rabbit hole. You don't need to
Yes.
convince them they need your random thing. Whereas if you're looking at a Facebook ad and you're like, oh, that's nice, but like they haven't gone looking for that thing, that thing's just kind of come across them. And yes, targeting and all this matters, but at the end of the day, I would rather put myself at the top of Google for that one thing so that I'm getting all of that free search traffic. I mean, you invested your time and energy and effort into getting there, but at the end of the day, if you can stay up there, that is going to pay exponentially over time. Is there
It will.
anything extra you want to say about why it matters?
Yeah, well, I want to talk a little bit about that, and maybe we'll get more into it later, so just let me know. But when you are, most of my clients come to me after having already thrown spaghetti at the wall. They boost a post here, they pay for some ads there on like Facebook. I don't know why everybody goes to Facebook. The thing about social media is the people that are seeing your ads on social media are in a totally different headspace than they are when they're actively searching for the service you provide. So it's like you're interrupting their day. They don't recognize a need. They're like, "Ooh, okay, maybe." But Google, they're looking for you. They're actively looking for you. Like, why are you putting your money over here on Facebook? Like, oh my gosh. And then they're usually not even measuring results. So,
Yes.
yeah.
And that brings up such a good point, is because when I go on social media, just as a consumer,
Hmm.
I'm going on there to just brain melt. I'm not going
Yes.
on there to think. I'm not going on there to, I mean, maybe some people are. Maybe this is just me, but I don't go on there to buy things or purchase things. And more often than not, any ads on my social media piss me the F off
Me too.
because I'm not asking for it.
Hmm.
Because it's free, because social media is free and you don't own it, we are the product. And since we are the product, we have to get all of these ads in order to pay for the platform and to pay for all of its needs and to make them
Yes.
multi-billions of dollars. And so when I'm that product, it pisses me off because I'm like, I just want to see my friends are doing. I want to see if my friends look cute. I want to see if my friends went out and did something
Yeah.
fun, or just to read all the stupid memes or to watch all the dumb fox and like cat videos and dog videos that come across my feed. That's what I want when I'm on social media.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not the kind of mind frame you want people to be in if you have a specific product that you're like, I want to get you up and going and excited and to buy this product. That I'd be like on my couch being like, no, Jan, that's not what I want to do right now.
That's the furthest thing from what I want to do right now. I don't want that. I don't want to buy your roof. I don't want roofing. I don't want HVAC right now. I'm trying to look at these fun videos and photos of people I know and like. Like, what are you doing right now? Go away.
Uh, 110%. So then why would somebody invest in SEO for their business over simply just paying for ads? I know we just dug into
Mhm.
that, but like what's that actually? Why is that so much more important?
Yeah, there's several advantages of SEO over simply paying for ads. Now, like ads aren't completely bad. There's a time and a place, which really requires working with a professional if that's something that might be a fit for you. But ads are providing immediate visibility of you, right? Of your business and getting you to the top of maybe, let's say you're doing ads on Google. It's getting you to the top of the search engine, which is great, hypothetically. They require an ongoing investment to maintain, and generally the investment is much more than you would be paying for search engine optimization. It's also attracting less qualified potential clients because you pop up and they're like, okay, whatever, I'll click on it. Let's just see real quick, but I'm not totally interested. You just interrupted their day, sort of. When you do that, we call them less qualified leads. The leads that you would be getting through search engine optimization are much more likely to buy from you. And when you're paying for ads, you're paying for those clicks. Just because they click, it doesn't mean they'll buy. You can easily find yourself dumping thousands into the hole with nothing to show for it. And that is not what you want out of marketing. Marketing should be an investment with a return on investment. When you stop paying for those ads, by the way, you disappear off the top of the page, right? You disappear, and we know we need to be on the top of the page. That's where the highest conversion rates are. That's where people are more likely to buy from you if you're at the top. But once you stop paying, you disappear, and now your competitors step in. So it doesn't mean that advertising's bad. It can be great. It just depends on your industry and what you have going on. Hopefully, if you were paying for ads, that all those clicks that you had to pay for, the thousands of dollars worth of clicks, paid for itself and you could profit. SEO, it's more sustainable, it's more affordable. You're getting higher, more qualified people that are much more willing to buy from you. They were searching you out, and that's how you showed up through SEO, showed up organically. So, you know, yeah, that's my little blurb
So,
on that. And it's important too. It's talk to a professional. Any professional worth their salt would be happy to talk to you with no obligation to make you help you make the right decision.
yeah. So
But
breaking
yeah.
it down in like super simple terms,
Hmm.
SEO basically investing in it and investing in somebody who can help you work SEO is basically saying, hey, I want to rank number one or at least on the first page of Google. That's what you're investing in. You're investing in being on that first page and getting to that top ranking spot. So if you want to be, say, you want to be the number one sought after lawyer for your specific niche in, and it can get granular in your
Hmm.
specific city, if that's what you are, or in your country, then you can work with an SEO specialist to get you to that spot. And instead of using that marketing dollars on commercials and Facebook ads and all of this stuff, you take that investment dollars and you invest them into an SEO specialist who will get you ranked there and help you stay there for years to come. Because the
Yes.
longer you're there, so we're going to get into this later, but the longer you're there, the better. And we're going to talk about that later, the long term. But do you have any examples that you can share that highlights the true power of SEO and what it can do for business in this kind of an example of like, hey, I want to work with you. These are some awesome results.
Yeah, so we actually have somebody who has been doing SEO for 10 years. And I wanted to prepare for this pull up. We have a lot of case studies at WSI. We've been around for about 30 years, right? So we've got a lot and it's accessible to anybody. But there's one in particular that's been sticking out to me. It was just a casual conversation, but he had been doing SEO for 10 years. And at this point, he's doing 1.5 million in revenue. And half of that revenue is coming from his website because that's what SEO is doing. It's bringing you people who need you, who are looking for you, and they're much more willing to buy. Half of his revenue is coming from his website because of the SEO he's been doing for the long term. He doesn't have to run ads anymore. He doesn't have to deal with that at all. His website is actually an asset now rather than a deadbeat just sitting there, just being a generic billboard that nobody is really looking at because they're driving by so fast. It's actually working for him. That's kind of what I have on that. We have a lot of other stories, but that one just stuck out to me because, man, his website is knocking it out of the park for him because he never let off the gas. And SEO is something you should never stop doing. There's a new competitor every day. There's a new ad running every day. Just corner your market and keep it through SEO. It future-proofs you, and he's living proof of that.
Yes, it's a long-term strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people that doing SEO is a long-term strategy that will pay dividends over time. I always I have this mentality, especially with this podcast, that I would rather build in the SEO. And I haven't done an episode on this, but I will do an episode on affiliate marketing with affiliate links. I'd rather build that over time slowly and get micro little transactions over time that build over getting one lump sum payment coming in, because over time that lump sum payment is going to slowly diminish in value. Whereas over time, if I build my SEO and build the website and build everything over time, it's going to continue to grow. And that, my friends, is what is called an asset. And if you utilize SEO properly and you help build your website, you are building an asset. And I think some people don't quite understand and grasp this. They go, well, if I just put my website together and I just put it online, can't people just find me? And it's like, no. And there's a reason why people can't just find you online if you just put up a website and maybe you do like a blog post or something like that. It's because Google doesn't know you and Google doesn't trust you.
Yes.
Google doesn't know you. Google doesn't trust you. It's like, okay, well, hey, just a throwback to Jan earlier. Hey, Jan, this is super cool. You make fermented yogurt. And you made this one blog post and you want to sell your fermented yogurt to people around town in, let's pick Toronto. That's great and all, but if you aren't the determined number one source of that information, Google's not going to say, hey, go to Jan. She's the best at it. They're going to go, I don't know, Jan's pretty shifty. All she got is one website. She has no links going back to her website, and she doesn't really talk about her information that much. But there's Jan sitting there going, why is nobody coming to my website? Why is nobody ordering from me? Why does nobody know about me? I got to throw up all these random ads, which, yes, it could help. But if you invested in the SEO, your business will be here 10, 15, 20 years from now because you will continuously grow that over time. This is that long-term strategy that SEO has for people. And it tickles me freaking pink.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up about, I wanted to tell this story. This is how I kind of start to teach people the importance of it. I lean in with, hey, do you realize Google's role in your business? Do you realize who Google is? Okay. And I have them think about that role. Google, it's Wavetops. Think about Google like your door guy to your business, which is your website. Okay. You have to keep your door guy happy for him to let people in and come check you out and maybe make a purchase. And there are ways to do that through SEO to keep your door guy happy. If you're not pleasing him, nobody is coming in. And that's where we get to the on-page, off-page, technical, content related, like just back and forth stuff to keep your door guy happy. But no matter who you are, no matter what your industry, you need a website and you need to keep your door guy happy with SEO so people can come in and see you and buy from you. And that's where SEO comes into play.
Yes.
He's got to know, like, and trust you. He's got to know, like, and trust you. And that's what SEO does. And he will gladly let people come into your business when you build that relationship with Google and its algorithm, its machine learning.
Yes. Yes. So if somebody wants to how long does it usually take for someone to start seeing results from their SEO strategy? So say they say, okay, I've been listening. I get it. I know I need to do this for my business. This makes more sense to me. How long does it usually take from a strategy for that to actually start working and people to start seeing results?
Yeah, that's a really common question. Another question I get is, how long will it take for me to get to the first page of Google? They recognize they need to be there. If I had $1 for any time somebody asked me that, I would be so rich right now. But I'm going to tell you the truth about it. The time frame for SEO results can vary depending on various factors, such as the competitiveness of your industry, the quality of your website because it's ongoing. So you're slowly gaining that authority and that trust with Google, and the effectiveness of the strategy. How hard are you going into this, right? Generally, businesses can start, regardless of industry, they can start seeing noticeable improvements within 3 to 6 months. But honestly, if you're able to handle it in this quick turn, immediate gratification world, you want to give it 12 months. Please give it 12 months, and you're going to see year over year noticeable improvements. But you can see improvements anywhere 3 to 6. Just, just be patient, because these are tried and true methods that are measurable, that are sustainable, and incredibly important when you are in a competitive market. You want to
Yes.
eventually be the business that shows up when people say, plumber near me, website help near me, like something, coffee shop, right? You want to be that person. So give it 12 months if you can, please.
Yes. And so I want to just track back to this one thing, domain authority, because what
Mhm.
this is doing, what this longevity, what this long period does is it helps you and your website build the domain authority, which is you going back to that doorman of like Google's the doorman, and Google is telling everybody, okay, the domain authority is high enough for me to let you in the door. And that's what you
Mm,
want your website to be. You want your domain authority to be higher. So the higher your domain authority, the more likely it is that Google's going to recommend you first. Now, that's
yes.
not the only, there's many other factors that go into this, but that is one of the key factors. And one of the ways to get there is things like getting links back to your website. I almost
Mhm.
talked about this earlier, but one of the important parts of building a domain authority and building this into your longevity plan is by getting links back to your website. And that's a
Yes.
very important aspect, because that is saying, it's almost like, you know how if you go and like a random person tells you to do something, you're like, okay, sure, maybe, I don't know. But then you have like your friend of a friend tells you, and it's like, oh, my friend of a friend. You're like, okay, I trust that like a lot more. Link
Yes.
backs are like a friend of a friend. It's like everybody's telling Google, like, hey, you should really like pay attention to this website. Like they're cool, they're totally chill. Like they're allowed to come to the party. That's what those are doing for you. And the more that that happens, your domain authority will grow, but also things like content creation and all that stuff. So continuing on this. Oh, and also I want to say it's not just a one-time thing. Talking about
Hmm.
investing into SEO, it is a long-term strategy. It's, and at minimum 6 months, like minimum, but like 6 to 12
Yes.
months. But even then, it's not like it's done. It's not like you just, oh, I did SEO.
Right.
Like I did it. It's a investment for the rest of your business. For like
Yes.
for here until ever. And it sounds daunting, but everything is constantly changing. Online, the digital world is constantly changing. Things in Google are constantly changing. The
Hmm.
invention of AI that just happened right now, like not right now, but like that just happened, is drastically going to change the surface of what Google is looking for and what online is looking for, because there's going to be a rush. There already has been a rush of all these AI articles going on there. Google now wants to implement things where it's like, okay, well, now we really want to know if a person's actually doing these kinds of things, which is why I do podcasting for SEO, because you can't fake two people talking. I mean, you can, but like
Right.
it creates a more organic, natural like natural language to the conversation. So yeah, so all of these things play into your long-term strategy for SEO.
Yes.
And that over time, like if you get it to a good place, you still need to have somebody in your pocket or doing SEO that it's an upkeep thing. You
It
need to
is.
upkeep, because Google will change things and maybe your website will go down for a little while,
Mhm.
but it'll come back up. But like you said, you just need to be patient.
You need to be patient, and it's a lifetime. It's a lifetime investment, the lifetime of your business. This is something you never stop doing. There's a new competitor every day. There's just it's something that is ongoing. And honestly, it's going to help you out. You've got another it's although it is an investment in your business, it's a legitimate business expense which can help you out at the end of the year when you're filing your taxes. You've got that ongoing business expense, which is truly an investment in your revenue. It helps you out a little bit. It
Yeah.
really does.
Yeah, exactly. Business
Yeah.
write-offs,
It's it's wild to me though that people will start businesses and not even factor for a marketing budget or do any of the footwork. It's wild to me how most businesses go out of businesses, right? Go out of business within like the first 5 years, and they certainly don't make it to 10. And I was reading an article on Forbes, and it was asking people who had gone out of business why. Why did they go out of business? And these people self-reported it and said there was no market need. And that's all they provided on Forbes. And I wholeheartedly disagree with that. We know, being online, we know that there is a market for everything when we're doing keyword research. There is always a market for everything. What there isn't, though, is businesses doing appropriate marketing to get in front of the right people. There's absolutely a market for your business, and SEO gets you to that market so that you can stay in business.
Yes, exactly. So would you say that this is why it's super important for a business to get invested into SEO early and not put it off later?
Yes, I would. Not only do I say it's mandatory, it's something you want to invest in before you even need it. Usually that first year, you're doing okay. You know, you've got the funds, you know, it's fine. You think it's going to go better for you. But year over year, if you're not investing in your marketing, it's going to get a little harder to make ends meet, especially if you are relying on word of mouth referrals, which are notoriously unreliable. You don't know if you're going to get 3 referrals this month. You don't know if you're going to get 1 this month. You don't know if you're going to be able to pay that overhead cost. So start early, start before you need it. I don't care how good business is going for you right now. You don't know what next year looks like. You don't know if there's going to be another worldwide health issue that's going to shut things down. Start early.
Yes, especially because all those people who didn't have their websites found out real fast that, oh, had I been number one on the internet, their business wouldn't have struggled maybe as much as it did.
That's right. Some businesses thrived, some have closed their doors forever. And if you started early, you would have had a competitive advantage over others in your industry who had delayed or overlooked SEO. And honestly, that's a lot of competitors, believe it or not. You have a lot to gain when you start SEO. You really
Yes.
do.
Yes. So I know that, costs can range because it's like you
Yes.
could contracts from just a month or couple months up to a year or years. But what is like a healthy budget range to expect for working with an SEO specialist or a company?
Yeah. So the cost of working with an SEO specialist or company will vary based on a lot of factors like scope of work of the project and the level of expertise required or desired. A healthy budget range typically starts from $1,000 a month for small businesses. It can go up to several $1,000s for larger enterprises. It's important though, it's important to not let the sticker shock fool you. It's important to find an SEO partner who aligns with your budget and goals and can guide you into what industry norms are for you and to make the numbers make sense so you get a solid return on your investment. A lot of people will be like, oh, $2,000 a month on SEO, that's a bit much for me. And I'm like, well, what's the average value of a client for you? $5,000 lifetime value. How about that? Do they bring you referrals as well? $15,000? Well, then that 15,000, just that one client, that lifetime value is probably going to pay for close to a year of SEO for you. Like really think about it in perspective of the kind of revenue you bring in. And any SEO expert like yourself, like myself, we can help you make the numbers make sense.
Mhm.
So very long-winded to say it ranges, varied on scope. What do you think about that? How do you feel about that price range?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's about average. What I would say. I mean, it's one of these things where it's like it varies so much
It does.
depending on like what, because when you talk SEO, it's not just one thing, it's multiple
It's
things. Like if you're asked to write an article, like a single article, like $350 for an SEO article
right.
specific, that's about, I'd say lower-ish on the end on the spectrum, but it's within the reasonable spectrum. But that's just one SEO article. And if you
Yes.
think that that one article is going to change your life, it very much is not.
Nope.
It's a good start, but you're going to need hundreds of those articles. So, I mean, 1,000 to 7,000, are they writing articles or are they like, what
Yes.
is part of that, So the range can be wide. It could even be wider. It depends on how big your budget is, how fast you want to grow. But like for healthy starting out, that is a very good space. And where should folks start and focus if they have a really small budget? They
Mhm.
know they want to get in here, but like where should they focus if they want to start with a smaller budget?
Yeah, for those starting with smaller budgets, there are effective ways to invest in SEO, especially locally. What you want to do when you're starting out, you've got a smaller budget, you want to hyper target your local market and then grow from there, right? Grow from there. Um, Focus on fundamental elements like a clear and concise website. Treat your website like a billboard. People are going to hop on and glance at it. Have a single and clear call to action, like request a free quote. Write your own blog if you've got the time and you've got a smaller budget. Write your own blog with subjects that pertain to any patterns that you are seeing with your customers. Maybe some common questions they have, common issues they come to you with, and include local keywords like in your area. Like I'm in Severna Park, maybe include that in a blog post, something like that. Because every blog post you write is teaching Google who you are and who you are appropriate to show to when they're searching for the very service or product you provide. Make sure you leverage free tools like Google My Business. Get your business listed on there because everybody's on their phone. And now we've got a nice little map that will show you popping up. It's just a great way to do local search engine optimization for free.
Yes, it's amazing. I think
And
I
keep
come
it
up as
updated.
like, I think I'm like number 2 for business coaching in Toronto.
Awesome. That Toronto is not a small place either, so that's excellent. And you
Yeah.
keep it up to date, right? Like you're posting on
Yeah.
there. Yeah. And people will do that too. They'll set it and forget it. You can't treat it like social media. Keep it updated, add pictures, add updates, calls to action, and you can do that with the Google Business Profile. It's really easy to do. Highly recommend you use a desktop to mess around on there and get
Yeah.
familiar with what's going on.
Yeah, no, don't use your phone. It's a bad interface.
Yes. And here's an old school recommendation because really you should be doing a multitude of tactics for marketing yourself, especially when it comes to targeting locally, right? As a new, smaller business. Put yourself out there, join a chamber of commerce, join a networking group, go to a convention, introduce yourself. You never know who's going to be sitting next to you in that Starbucks line or maybe at that, wherever you're going. Just keep your mouth, don't be quiet. Talk about who you are, what you do. That's a great way to really help essentially analog local SEO, right?
Yes, yes, I loved all of those points. And so I want to break down a lot of this for people if they are, oh, pardon me, if they are, even lower than that, and they're like, I can't afford to do any SEO.
Yeah.
Those things that you just mentioned are great and fantastic. And I want to add a couple points to that
Yeah.
is ask those people to, send a link back to your website. If like once you build
Yes.
that relationship, once you get to there and get to that place, ask them to link back to your website. There you go. You're building links back to your website. You're getting your friends of your friends saying, hey, go look over here. You can trust this website.
Yes.
And also building SEO is writing blog posts. And I wanted to just
Yes.
break this down for people so that they understand why. What happens when you write a blog post is that you put out all this textual information for Google because Google's a machine and it crawls through all of that data and it pulls out keywords and information from it going, oh, they
Mm-hmm.
keep talking about this. This must be what this website is about.
Yes.
That is kind of breaking down SEO to the very bare bones basics of understanding of like, this is how Google understands you and your website. I know you're a human, you get it, you understand what you are, but online, the internet does not understand who you are. And so the
Yes.
more blog posts and the more textual information you put out there, the more Google can crawl it and go, oh, I understand. They keep talking about business. They keep talking about entrepreneurship. They keep talking about podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
This is what this website is about. And so that is what SEO does, and it helps drive. So if you can't afford to go out there and pay somebody to do SEO and this, that, and the other, there are ways, of course, to like make sure you structure it properly because there is a structure that Google likes to see. Like it needs to make sure you have the proper headings and keywords and these kinds of things. But if you can't get that granular and you don't want to, even just writing basic blog posts to a certain degree about the topic you love or is your niche will help you get there enough that maybe you can eventually hire somebody. And one of the fun things that I want to say is that if you don't like blog posting and writing and sitting and doing all that, I do podcasting for SEO.
Yes, I meant to bring that up.
Oh yay! What do you have to say about it? I'll go after you.
Well, think about this. I was doing some locally stuff too. I'm telling you guys to go out there, not keep your mouth shut, talk to people. Cal and I met at a convention. I went to essentially, a convention and we were talking and we both bonded over SEO and how people don't understand its importance. And thanks to just having that conversation, he invited me onto this podcast, which is going to help my SEO efforts as well as his, right? The subject of the podcast is going to be on his website. It's going to help. But he's helping me with my SEO just by me being on a podcast. And he was kind enough to invite me here. I'm not paying for this. It's a great way to boost your SEO. Reach out to people that you know and you like, you listen to them. If what you do pertains to their area of expertise, be bold, ask them, and maybe, nurture that relationship. Maybe they'll invite you if you don't feel that brave to ask. So SEO and podcasting, it's a great matching up, a very affordable way, as in it's not going to break the bank.
Exactly. And it's
Yeah.
so much more fun because you get to have a conversation with somebody instead of like sitting and writing and being by yourself, which I mean, some people love. I do love
Right.
that, but I like to get to talk to people as entrepreneurs. It can be very lonesome sometimes. And so creating a
Yes.
podcast, talking, I get to help your SEO because there's going to be links going back to your website and people are
Yes.
going to hear you and go find out more about what you do. But it's also helping my SEO because I post this on my
Yes.
website. And so it's almost like it's a blog article on there. And then I have tips and ideas and tricks and things that actually help do a lot more for SEO. But that is things that I teach. So I'm going to do a whole episode on that another day. But yeah,
Awesome.
blah, 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 my brain. Podcasting for SEO is a fantastic idea. So if that lights you up, you can also find out more information about that on my website. But is
Hmm.
there any more information, anything we haven't talked upon or touched upon yet that you want to make sure you get in here before we finish things up today?
I think we did a great job at not just giving wave tops, but getting a little bit more down into it because you could get lost in the sauce. But I think we really hit a lot of the common questions and concerns my clients and potential clients come to me with when it comes to SEO. I think we did a great job. High five to ourselves.
Yay, internet high five.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, where can people go to find out more information about you and your services and what you offer?
Yeah, I would actually, it's going to be an unusual request, but you guys will help me out this way. Find me on Instagram, please. Find me on Instagram at WSI World underscore DMV, like the DMV area, because I'm in DC, Maryland, Virginia. So WSI World underscore DMV. When you go there to my Instagram, you will have the link to my website. You will have the link to everything you would ever need. And my DMs are open. And I think that's the easiest way to do it. Hop on your phone right now and find me on Instagram.
Perfect. And also, just because I'm that cool SEO kid, I will also make sure that your proper website and everything is also linked in the show notes so that if people just want to go
Perfect.
straight there, they'll have that. But
Yeah.
make sure you go follow Katheryne on Instagram and check out all of her stuff. And if you have any questions, you can either throw me, oh my God, I got a frog in my throat. You can either message me or message Katheryne. I can connect you to her. Thank you so much for being on today's show. I've been so excited about recording this episode because SEO just lights me up. I'm the biggest nerd and I get so much joy from being able to just nerd out with somebody else who gets it.
I do too. And you're probably a fan of the underdog as well because SEO levels the playing field for local businesses compared to these big names. It's going to level the playing field. You're going to get a heck of a return when you do SEO. So it's nice to talk to somebody who loves it just as much as I do.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Katheryne. Have the best day ever.
Thank you for having me. We'll talk again.